Hello, welcome to Mindful Musings. I'm Dee Dee, your host. Today is Monday, January 5th, I believe, although don't quote me on that. May not be, maybe the 4th. I'm not really sure. But anyway, got that little nudge from my spirit team to say, go ahead and sit here and see what messages may be coming through for the highest, greatest good. Yeah. In case you don't know me, this is kind of what I do. I've been doing this for over a year in terms of the YouTube channel. My spirit team just said, "You're going to do a YouTube channel." I said, "No, I'm not." And they said, "Yes, you are." I said, "Okay." And I love this. I do. I love this. It's a way of connecting. It's a way of hopefully bringing forth maybe some inspiration, some guidance, some levity to our lives, because it's been I'm preaching to the choir. It has been very tumultuous the last year in particular, but several years. Anyway, we are on this ascension process, this journey towards our authentic selves, and it's nice to have other soul tribe members to hang out with, even if it's just on the video. Our energies can support each other, and that's what we're here to do, is to assist each other along this path. And it's going to be up and down. It is what it is. That being said, I am a sound bowl practitioner, energy alchemist, intuitive, and basically an old crone. Just sharing whatever truth comes through in the moment. So, are you taking care of yourself? I know for a lot of people, this is the first week back into the work week, the school week, whatever. Regardless, this is the first full week of the new year. And the messages I have been receiving very loudly, is stillness. First and foremost, be gentle with yourself. And do our best to come into stillness. And I'm going to share with you because, I'm retired, at least, from the regular work, because I was a retail manager and I did that for decades. Although I did do the retail world yesterday, and that was pretty fun. I'll share an incident maybe with you that happened yesterday. But being retired, it's been quite an adjustment. Yeah, so it hasn't even been a year that I have retired from the management gig. But it has been an interesting process to learn how to not do so much, to learn how to not pre-plan everything, to constantly be thinking. And, I'm going to give myself great kudos. I've come a long way. Really, the sound bowls and doing these videos have really assisted me personally in getting more grounded and becoming more present. So I've been feeling like I've got a decent handle on this. So, just when you say, okay, I think I've gotten the hang on that, Spirit has a way of going, okay, great, let's bump it up a notch. And realizing how much a habit it is to immediately go to my phone, go to my laptop, and I go, well, I'm being quiet and I'm watching a video that is information. So, isn't that an improvement? Yeah, it's an improvement. And yet I decided, I woke up, I got the message yesterday, and I kind of watched myself a little bit yesterday. But I woke up this morning because, a team was saying, really start observing yourself and being very aware how it is a habit. I sit down and immediately my hand goes to my phone so I can check, has anyone messaged me? What's the latest? And it's like, whoa! And so what I've been challenging myself to do today is to just be aware when I have that tendency. It's like when you have a craving for a food and you stop yourself and then ask, am I really hungry, or am I trying to fill myself up? Am I stuffing emotions, or am I trying to make myself feel better? Changing the chemical compound by eating sugar. Very different. Same here. Just being aware of how automatic it is to reach out and to scroll and then trick myself because, I'm watching educational videos and I'm learning. But the point, what I'm attempting to make here is that is still external noise. We've spent a lot of time talking about the external noise of the world, of the chaos, of the soap opera, of all of that. That is happening out there in the 3D, the lower densities. That kind of noise and chaos. Taking it to this level of, again, becoming even more aware, a heightened awareness of the noise, distraction that we allow to permeate. Because the more noise there is, the more distraction, the more thoughts. We're already being bombarded with so much energy and, electromagnetic waves and all of this. It distracts us from being able to be present with ourselves. And remember, our true power lies within our ability to be still and to be comfortable in stillness. Not quite so easy, I'm finding out, and not just the mind chatter. So, I guess I'm sharing this as an invitation to you to be even more mindful of how you are using your electronics. How are you using your phone? Are you just automatically scrolling? Are you doom scrolling? Are you selective scrolling? Are you going to your laptop? What are you aware of doing that distracts you from being present with yourself? Because spirit can be talking to us. It can be chattering away. Yet when we just keep getting filled up with other stuff, we can't hear it because we're not present enough to be able to discern what is our truth. And that goes also with the kind of YouTube videos you watch? Are you filling yourself up with other thoughts, others' concepts? Really, really honor yourself and use your discernment as you listen. What are the sensations you feel in your body? Because remember, our body is our barometer. It is what is going to let us know what resonates. And it's senses. Our body senses. It knows what is truth and what resonates and what doesn't. And it did get me to thinking about being very, very discerning in who you listen to. You know, like what videos do you watch? What are you allowing to permeate your energetic field? Yeah, and again, there's so many, AI can be a really great thing, but also know that AI can be full of untruths, masquerading as truths. Well, people can too. The news definitely is an untruth. We need to be extraordinarily discerning. And in order to develop our discerning abilities, we must cultivate stillness. And I think one of the best ways that I'm encountering as to how to bring myself into stillness is through breath. Or literally listen to your heartbeat. Listen and feel your breath. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Even if you can do it only 3 minutes at a time, 30 seconds at a time, but periodically come back to presence. And I don't know, what ended up happening with me was I felt myself go within. And the ringing in my ears or the high buzzing, it became more quiet. And I have this sensation of comfort. In the stillness, you can then hear the noises in the distance. You don't have to assign a name to it. You don't have to you just are present. You are just aware. And the more we can train ourselves to come into silence, it's a mini training to quiet our mind. Because remember, our mind is just going like this all the time. It needs to come into coherence. And once we get into that place of balance and coherence, then we can more easily receive the messages from divine, our higher self, our soul, or other benevolent galactic beings, but make sure you're present. And this is something that our society, for a long, long time, has been, I can't think of the right words, not allowing us to do. Because we're constantly being bombarded, constant stimulation, and even radio waves, frequencies, whatever, it's in there and it's distorting and it's creating so that it's messing up our ability to be present and to receive our own divine guidance. And that is something that we always needed, but particularly in the coming days. The more of us who are able to come into stillness, to receive that peace, that calm, that information, then we will be able to experience the oneness. It's a weird kind of thing, isn't it? To knowing that we have to go within. And then as we are within, then we experience the interconnectedness, the oneness. And everything in our society has been an obstacle placed upon us, placed before us, to keep us from reestablishing our power. Conspiracy, maybe, yeah. Mostly, I think we've just gotten so used to it. I know many of my friends, they cannot sit still. And that is our conditioning. We need to be able to find, even if it's just moments throughout the day, of stillness, and to put ourselves on an external stimulation diet. Put ourselves on perhaps, I haven't figured out what I'm doing with myself yet, but perhaps that I will check my phone in the morning, maybe at noon, and maybe in the evening. And then the rest of the time, really work on being present. And sitting, for me, watching the birds brings me present, because I'm sitting there and I'm focusing on my breath, and it's pretty amazing. The moment I start becoming more present, the more birds I see. And the more I swear they make contact. I swear this little squirrel made contact the moment I came present. It's like he poked his little head and went like, "Hi, good of you to see me," It's ancient wisdom, nature wisdom, that we are reactivating. And in order to do that, we have to be, grounded, connected, and still in order to receive the messages. Is this making sense? I'll let you know how it goes. I am. That's why I say be gentle with yourself. I am using humor and being gentle with myself as I observe how I can be still and then immediately, go, "Oh, I wonder if that person responded. Oh, is there an email? Oh, did someone sign up for my class?" Or, come back to the present. Little increments. And then small doses of the scrolling. I mean, everything is in balance, right? Balance it. But we really want to watch our tendency to give our peace away, to give our sovereignty away to something external. And that's what we do each time we allow a distraction to come in and take us out of ourselves. I was going to share about yesterday at work. Had one of those really interesting experiences. One of the first customers of the day had never been in the store before, and it's a we sell bird food and bird feeders and stuff like that. So these two friends walk in, and what got me is they wandered around. I was chatting with them, probably for about 20 minutes or so, and everything out of their mouths, although their mouths were smiling, had a negative twist to it. Everything was like a yeah, but. It's like, oh, I love feeding the birds, but I don't like feeding the squirrels. How do you get rid of the squirrels? Or I love feeding the cardinals, but they do this. And everything. It was amazing to me. And, but I was in like a really good place, very balanced. And so, lovingly, and I wasn't really even aware I was doing that too much. I wasn't getting sucked into it at all, but I would, say, oh yeah, oh yeah, well, golly, what we tell everyone, and what I've come to know is that when you feed the birds, you're feeding nature. And we don't get to pick and choose who's going to come to the feeders and counteract everything else. Well, I don't want this bird, and let this bird. And I said, well, that's again the beauty of nature and of feeding the birds, is that there is no, we cannot I can't even think of the right word. That's funny. That word left me. Discriminate. Wow. I said, well, we can't discriminate as to what animals or birds we're going to feed, because nature is full of diversity. So you put the food out and everyone gets to eat. That's the way nature rolls, that kind of stuff. And this went on for like 20 minutes. They left. They said, oh, we'll be back. I said, okay, great, But anyway, to me, that was an example of the bifurcation. Dadgum, it was in front of my face. Boom. Those are the two different paths. One is maintaining an againstness, a comfort in the 3D world of worrying, of negativity, of finding what's wrong, of separation and us versus them. One is living comfortably in that. And the other is choosing love over fear, union over, division, whatever. But that was, to me, was an example of what you may be experiencing now, or that we are. I know I'm experiencing it more. You may start experiencing that as well. It's kind of like you're sharing the same airspace, but totally vibing on different levels. And one is, yes, you can go and meet them there, but bring yourself, think of the gratitude, come back into love, and you shift your energy. and again, it's not right or wrong, it's what's different. And that if you are starting to experience that as well, as you are working on really being present and life of Brian, always look on the bright side of life. You know, yes and no. I mean, we focus on what we want to create. We focus on gratitude, on love, on harmony. And if that is where we are vibing, it's going to be really obvious if people around you aren't vibing at that same level. Again, one is neither, it's duality. We're still in duality here, but there is no right or wrong, good or bad, whatever. It is just, well, the 3D, there is a comfort there. And by us hovering around in this other for longer periods of time, we're influencing it, because I'm sure those ladies left, they'd probably, as my friend told me, she goes, well, yeah, I'm sure what you did, being of the higher vibration helped to harmonize them and lift their vibration. So yeah, so instead of, instead of feeling, because I never said anything that would be contrary, but if they were in a defensive state, they could probably have taken some of my positivity as really annoying, but they didn't. And I think that's one reason they said, we'll come back at another time, with a smile on their face, But that was the harmony. That is how we, by vibing at a higher frequency, can affect. And they're not going to have a clue what was going on. I barely had a clue of what was going on until, a couple hours later, and I went, oh, that's what happened. Okay, gotcha. All I knew is that I still felt fine because I wasn't attached to an outcome. I wasn't trying to prove a point or do anything like that. I was just being in love, sharing my passion, which happens to be birds. One of my passions. I love birds. I love nature. I love the joy that they bring. You share what brings you joy. And especially any time that 3D world starts getting you down, focus on what brings that joy, that laughter, that creativity. And know that simply by shifting your vibration, you're making a huge difference. You may not know it, but you are. I mean, come on. Haven't you felt it? If you're in a kind of a place and a friend comes in who's vibing high, they're not trying to fix you or do anything like that, but just spending a little time, your vibration lifts as well. And hopefully theirs does too, because you're not being a vampire and sucking it out of them. But that higher vibration can lift. And you may not know that that's what's happening, but that is what happened, is the energy. Or for whatever reason, hello, spirit team, I watched the movie Phenomenon. It was back in 1996, a film with John Travolta, Kira Sedgwick, Robert Duvall. It was wonderful, actually. I really did enjoy it. But the character of John Travolta is talking about the energy and being in relationship with energy, is moving a pencil, telekinesis. And they're saying, how are you doing that? How are you making it do that? And he's like, I'm not making it do it. I am in relationship. We are energy. I'm energy. The pencil is energy. We're sharing energy, and we're in relationship. We're all in relationship. Our energy. It was wonderful. So you can catch it if you want to. It was validating. about how we are all energy, and to take those quiet moments to breathe and to maybe look outside. I know one of my favorite things to do is to watch the trees. And you can see sometimes the trees in the wind or slight breeze. And you can watch that. It's so soothing, and placing your hand over your heart as you watch the trees, you can breathe. It's like Mother Earth holding you and rocking you, soothing you. Kind of cool, huh? Okay. I'm going to see if the oracle cards have anything to say, see if my spirit team wants to talk. Please, if you enjoy my videos, please like, subscribe, and what else? Oh yeah, and I check the links below, because I'm resuming the Wednesday evening sound bowls here in the Kansas City area. I am teaching several different classes over at the energywithinkc.com, and also resuming Friday noon sound bowls at Inspire Pilates in Leawood. So, fun times. So, let me see, for the highest, greatest good, who wants to chat? Sacred Forest does. Denise Lynn. So yeah. Stillness. Stillness is key. Being so anchored, so grounded in the stillness that you can bring in that divine information. And remember, we're at a time now. I was reading, and this really resonated to me, like the 9-year cycle that we just completed. It's as if, when I reviewed the last 9 years, holy crap, I went through a lot, and I'm sure you did too. If you reflect on that, I mean, to let it go and to really acknowledge, it's like, holy mackerel, there were many major life lessons over the past 9 years. And it's like, wow, to get me to where I am now, and to really acknowledge yourself for all that you've been going through, and how courageous and strong and loving and choosing the light. You're still choosing love over fear. That's a beautiful thing. Anyway, it was saying that, okay, the 9-year cycle, our souls they already know. Our mind is probably already pretty much garnered the lessons and has caught up to the cycle. Our body hasn't yet. So if you are feeling tired, or maybe have digestive issues, feeling pressure in the head, teeth, any like bodily symptoms, that's your body catching up and aligning with the cycle that we just completed. And of course, that's not medical advice. If something is going on, get it checked out. But that's just if you may be experiencing anything. Just remember, our body on the cellular level is still releasing all the trauma and the growth from the past 9-year cycle. And that will continue a while. So be extra gentle, extra hydrated, extra out in nature to be grounded. Okay? Self-care, not an option, a necessity. All right, let me see. Further see. Yeah, pretty right on. Raven spirit, truth. Followed by reflecting pool, stillness. Standing stones, passage. So to me, our truth comes to light in stillness. Our wisdom, our divine wisdom, the truth. It's a year of expression, of honoring what is true in our heart and our divine wisdom. And the way of accessing that is through reflecting in the stillness. And in that stillness, as we reflect, the passage will be made clear to us. But remain in the stillness until the passage, the path, is clear. Now is not a time to force your way forward in anything. This is still, we're still in the winter, at least here in this hemisphere. This is still a time of stillness, not a time of forcing and forging new paths, unless it is resonating within. Because we are now at a time in the energy when the path will be extraordinarily clear and it will be almost effortless. But to get to that place, you must be willing to look and receive the truth as you are in stillness. Pardon me, interesting. And remember, as the truth, there is still more truth being revealed. And the revelation of truth is not always comfortable. And there will be those who choose to remain in the illusion that it's too painful to recognize the truth. And that's okay. You keep listening to your truth. And remember, the truth is not outside of us. The information is not outside of us. Everything is within. And remember to come into that stillness through your breath. Remember square breathing. Listening to your heartbeat. Watching the trees. Cradling yourself. Giving yourself permission to be still. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And so it is. Namaste.